This event shook America and set social media ablaze. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, stepped onto the set of the spotlight to discuss issues close to the older generation: support for veterans, access to healthcare, and the strength of family bonds. Known for his candor and humanitarian work, Harry hoped for a heartfelt conversation. Instead, he faced Sunny Hostin, a host infamous for her provocative attacks and sharp tongue. What began as a routine interview spiraled into a fiery confrontation that left everyone stunned. No one was prepared for the storm that unfolded, a clash of dignity against toxicity that redefined public discourse. Watch until the end to find out how it all unraveled, and share your thoughts in the comments. The studio buzzed with tension, its glossy black stage glowing under blinding spotlights that cast stark shadows. Rows of spectators, many of them veterans or seniors, whispered eagerly, their eyes darting between the sleek set and the empty chairs where Prince Harry and Sunny Hostin would soon face off. The air was electric, like the calm before a thunderstorm. Harry entered first. His tailored navy suit and warm smile radiated the confidence of a man who'd weathered countless trials. A veteran, humanitarian, and royal rebel, he captivated with his sincerity. Hostin, by contrast, slunk into her seat with a cold, calculated grin, her eyes glinting like a predator sizing up prey. Behind the scenes, producers exchanged nervous glances, sensing the mounting tension. The stage was set for drama. The interview kicked off with a facade of politeness. Hostin leaned forward, her voice velvety. "Prince Harry, welcome to the spotlight. You've been vocal about supporting veterans and healthcare access for seniors. Why is this so important to you?" Harry lit up, his eyes sparkling with passion. "Sonny, I've seen veterans who gave everything for their country struggle to live with dignity after service. And seniors, like my grandparents, deserve respect and care, from healthcare access to simple human connection." The audience, many of whom were veterans or retirees, clapped warmly, but Hostin's smile tightened. She tilted her head, her tone sharpening. "That's sweet, Harry. But some say you're just using these issues to seem relatable. Isn't this just a way to polish your image after leaving the monarchy?" The crowd murmured, sensing unease. Harry's jaw clenched, but he kept his composure. "I'm not here for image, Sonny. I'm here to support those who've given their lives to service or are fighting for a decent life in retirement." Hostin smirked, undeterred. "Sure, but let's be honest, your high-profile initiatives are about attention, right? You didn't just move to America to become a champion of the people, did you?" The audience gasped, some chuckling nervously. Harry's smile faded, his fingers gripping the armrest. "My work speaks for itself," he said evenly. "It's about real people, not headlines." Hostin leaned closer, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, come on, Harry. Don't pretend you're above headlines. Your charity projects, your speeches about veterans and seniors, it's all just PR to stay in the spotlight, isn't it?" The crowd whispered, a mix of shock and curiosity. Harry's eyes narrowed, but he kept his tone calm. "Sonny, I left a system that stifled me to do real work. Megan and I support veterans, help seniors. It's not PR, it's principle." Hostin scoffed, tossing her hair. "Principle? That's cute. But some say you're just playing on American emotions to justify ditching your duties. You abandoned your family, and now you're preaching care. Isn't that a bit hypocritical?" The room fell silent, the weight of her words pressing down. The co-host, visibly uncomfortable, tried to interject. "Sonny, maybe we—" "No, let him answer," Hostin snapped, cutting her off. She turned back to Harry, her smile venomous. "You're selling this veterans advocate image, but isn't it true you're just capitalizing on your title while dodging responsibility?" Harry flushed, but his voice remained firm. "I served my country, Sonny. I fought in wars, lost friends, and know what veterans go through. And I've seen seniors in America left without proper health care. My title doesn't define me, it's what I do that matters." The audience erupted in applause, but Hostin pressed on. "Service? You walked away from the monarchy. You talk about care, but your family's dealing with the fallout from your tell-all interviews. Don't you ever feel ashamed for abandoning them?" Harry clenched his fists, his voice steady but laced with anger. Ashamed? I feel pain for a system that traps people. I'm not destroying, I'm helping those who need it, from veterans to retirees. The studio crackled with tension, the audience hanging on every word. Hostin's eyes gleamed, sensing blood in the water. Helping? Let's talk about Megan. Her humanitarian initiatives, your charity projects for seniors, some call it performative. Are you two just playing to the American crowd? The audience gasped. Harry's face darkened, his patience fraying. You're crossing a line, Sonny. Megan and I are committed to real change, from veterans programs to supporting seniors. You can mock it, but the people we help know it's genuine. Hostin leaned back, smirking. Oh, touchy. If it's so genuine, why dodge tough questions? Like, say, those rumors about your marriage. Is Megan running your noble initiatives? The room froze, the question hanging like a blade. The co-host shifted awkwardly, whispering to a producer, but Hostin pressed on, her voice cutting. Come on, Harry. They say Megan's pulling the strings. Is she the real reason you're here, playing the veteran's hero? How would you respond to Sonny's accusations? Would you stay calm or fight back? Comment below. Harry's eyes blazed, but his voice remained controlled, each word deliberate. You want to talk about my marriage? Fine. Megan is my partner, my equal, the strongest person I know. We fight together for veterans, for seniors, for those who deserve support. That's something you clearly don't understand. The audience cheered loudly, but Hostin rolled her eyes. Together? Cute. But your team has alienated your family. Your brother, your father, they're still cleaning up your mess. Don't you owe them an apology? The crowd's murmurs grew louder, a mix of support and shock. Harry leaned forward, his voice low and intense. I owe my family love, not apologies for my truth. You're trying to twist my life into your story, Sonny, but I'm not playing your games. Hostin laughed, a sharp, biting sound. My story? Harry, you're the one spinning tales. You talk about care, but you're just selling a brand to stay relevant. Admit it, you need the drama to stay in the spotlight. The studio fell eerily quiet, the weight of her words sinking in. Harry's face was a mask of restrained fury, his hands trembling slightly. The co-host tried again to intervene, stammering. Maybe we go back to veterans. No, Harry cut in, his voice like steel. She wants to play dirty, let's play. The audience gasped, leaning forward as the tension reached a boiling point. This is the first part of the story, covering the introduction, scene setting, and early escalation. The full 3,500-word narrative, including the climactic confrontation and conclusion, continues in Part 2, diving deeper into Harry's powerful stand and the fallout that shook the studio. Stay tuned for Part 2, and let us know in the comments, should Harry walk out or keep fighting? The Spotlight studio was on the verge of erupting, the tension humming like an exposed wire. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, sat rigid, his eyes burning with restrained anger as Sonny Hostin, the host with a venomous smile, continued her onslaught. The audience, many of them veterans and seniors, sat frozen, their faces reflecting a mix of shock, support, and discomfort. Hostin's words, "You need drama to stay relevant," still hung in the air, sharp as a dagger. Harry, his hands trembling faintly from the strain, leaned forward, his voice low and dangerously calm. You want drama, Sonny? He said, each word cutting like steel. Fine. But let's talk about your drama. You sit here, tearing people down for ratings, twisting their lives to seem clever. That's not journalism. It's a circus. The audience gasped, a few people in the back rows even jumping to their feet, clapping. Hostin blinked, her smile faltering for a moment, but she quickly recovered, her eyes narrowing. Oh, Harry, you're calling this a circus? What do you call your life? You abandoned your country, your family, to play hero in America. Do you really think your programs for veterans or seniors make a difference, or are they just a way to ease your guilt? The silence in the studio was deafening. The co-host, Mia, who had been struggling to keep things under control, opened her mouth, but no words came. Producers backstage exchanged panicked gestures, one of them clutching a headset, whispering into a microphone. Harry, however, didn't back down. His face was stern, but his voice remained steady, brimming with dignity. "Sonny, I've seen veterans return home without proper health care. I've talked to seniors who can't afford their medications. My programs aren't about my guilt. They're about their lives. You can laugh, but I won't let you diminish their stories." The audience erupted in applause, some even standing, shouting words of support. Hostin, however, didn't relent. Her smile grew colder, almost sinister. "Harry, you speak so well. But let's be honest, those stories are just part of your brand. You and Megan sell yourselves as saviors, but isn't it true you're just using veterans and seniors to look good after all those scandals?" The room froze again, the shock of her words rippling like a wave. Mia, the co-host, finally intervened, her voice trembling. "Sonny, that's too far. Let's get back to the topic of veterans and—" "No, Mia!" Hostin cut her off sharply, her eyes locked on Harry. "He wants to be a hero, let him prove it." "So, Harry? Are you using these people or not?" Harry exhaled, his shoulders tensing, but he didn't lose his composure. "Sonny, you can't even imagine what it means to fight for those who have no voice. I don't use people, I listen to them. I've sat with veterans who can't get mental health support after war. I've seen seniors living in fear because they can't pay medical bills. This isn't about me. It's about them." The audience exploded in cheers, the applause thundering like a storm. Some shouted, "Well done, Harry!" Hostin, undeterred, grew more biting. "Oh, how touching! But tell me, Harry, how does it look when you preach about care while living in a mansion in Montecito? Do you really think veterans or seniors buy your sincerity?" That final jab was the breaking point. Harry's face flared, his eyes blazing with resolve, but his voice remained controlled, filled with a power that silenced the entire studio. He stood from his chair, his presence radiating royal dignity yet human vulnerability. "Sonny, I'm done with your games," he began, his voice thrumming with restrained fury. "I came here to talk about veterans who deserve support after their service. About seniors who deserve dignity in their golden years. But you turn this into a cheap spectacle for clickbait. You don't care about these people. You don't care about the truth. You just want headlines to keep your career afloat." The room erupted in cheers, some audience members clapping with tears in their eyes, feeling the weight of his words. Hostin opened her mouth to retort, but Harry raised a hand, stopping her. "I'm not finished. You accuse me of PR? Look in the mirror. You belittle people, twist their words, because it's all you're good at. I won't let you disrespect my work, my family, or the people I fight for. You've shown who you really are, Sonny. And it's not pretty." The studio fell into a stunned silence. Even Hostin, always quick with a comeback, froze, her face paling, her smile gone. The audience watched, breathless, as Harry, still holding her gaze, continued. "I don't play by your rules. I'm not here for your show. I'm here for the people who deserve to be heard. And I won't let you or anyone else diminish their stories for cheap thrills." With that, Harry removed his microphone, tossed it onto the chair, and strode toward the exit. His steps were firm but calm, radiating dignity. The audience exploded in applause, some shouting, "Bravo, Harry!" and "Shame on you, Sonny!" Hostin sat stunned, her eyes glinting with shock and humiliation. Mia, the co-host, finally recovered and stammered, We'll be right back after the break." As the doors closed behind Harry, the studio descended into chaos. Spectators whispered, some outraged by Hostin's behavior, others in awe of Harry's courage. Backstage, producers argued frantically, one yelling into a phone, "This is a disaster! Or a hit!" Hostin tried to regain control, her voice shaky as she addressed the audience. "Well, that was unexpected. But we all love a bit of drama, right?" Her laugh was hollow, and even her most loyal fans in the crowd only exchanged awkward glances. The confrontation on the spotlight became a moment etched in television history. Prince Harry, often seen as a mere media figure, revealed himself as a man of principle, ready to defend his dignity and the causes of veterans and seniors. His exit from the studio wasn't a retreat, it was a stand against the toxic culture of talk shows that thrive on humiliation and sensationalism. Hostin, whose career was built on provocation, was left humbled, her mask of wit cracking before millions of viewers. This moment served as a reminder: dignity and truth outweigh cynicism. Harry left the stage not as a defeated man but as someone who refused to play the media's dirty games. His words about veterans and seniors, their struggles and hopes, lingered in the hearts of the audience, inspiring many to reflect on their own values. This story isn't just about a scandal, it's about one person challenging a system that feeds on tearing others down. Subscribe to catch more stories, and share your thoughts in the comments. Did Prince Harry do the right thing by walking out, or should he have stayed to keep fighting? Were Sunny Hostin's questions justified, or did she cross the line for ratings? Why do talk shows often resort to personal attacks? Share your thoughts in the comments. Text on screen at 1500 hours. Would you have supported Harry in this situation? Like if you're on his side, and tell us what you do.